Hi friends, I have another fun fact for you today regarding art of the heart. This has to do with self-pity versus self-compassion. Self-pity is when there's a belittlement, a powerlessness associated with that feeling or that perspective that produces that feeling. When we see someone else, let's say, and pity them, that typically means that we see them as powerless, less than, incapable. And that makes us feel bad for them, but in some awkward way, good for us. This reminds me of the story where the man comes in and he says, prays to himself, "Oh God, I'm so glad that I fast twice a week and that I give my tithes and I am not like this poor, pitiful person behind me." And yet there's a man who comes in and he cries out mercy. He cries out for compassion towards himself. And it says that man leaves justified. The one man was using pity to distinguish himself as better or more powerful. And so when we use self-pity, we often see ourselves as powerless, or we compartmentalize. There's a part of us that feels like we should be much grander or greater than we are, and therefore we see the other parts of us as powerless and pathetic. Or we actually have self-compassion that simply recognizes in the context of our humanity that we are to cry out mercy, that we each and every one of us need mercy. We need empathy, and we need to first have self-compassion. If I can't feel and empathize with me, there is no hope that I'm feeling or empathizing with you. If my only coping mechanism is to compensate for insecurity with pride and belittlement, then I really don't have the ability to be a compassionate person. So self-compassion is the very birthing place of the ability to be compassionate and to feel for others. Christ could feel. He grieved, he struggled, he was angry, he was joyful, he was excited, he was clear, he was receptive. And because he had that compassion flowing, he was a very and profoundly compassionate person, and he empowered people. He saw and respected them and actually asked them what they wanted versus seeing them as pathetic or incapable or unable to access the very power he was offering. There is a profound difference, and for any of you who are having questions what that difference might be, we will continue to dive into that, because self-compassion is often resisted for some very strong misconceptions that have been built over the years. But we cannot do this thing without compassion. Christ said, "I desire compassion more than sacrifice." This is a priority to the Lord and to us and to relationship. Compassion is essential. Pity is not. Pity actually distances people, as we've said in that example where the man distanced himself and disidentified himself with that man who was crying out for mercy, where instead Christ would identify with others in a very compassionate and empowering way. So in Art of the Heart, we want you to experience that for yourself. We want you to experience a compassion that feels with you, empathizes, and empowers you with a respect and a validity that gives you the grace to experience the fullness of life that is promised. All right, friends, thanks for checking in on this fun fact of Art of the Heart.